All right, hey guys. So today I am going to just give you a brief little video lecture here on population growth and a couple of types of graphs along with that. This information goes along with the information from 4.1, your natural population dynamics notes, but some of the stuff I'm going to show you actually isn't in the notes. So make sure that you either jot it down or remember it for later. Okay. So they start off, we're talking about populations in nature, more specifically like animal, plant populations, stuff like that. We'll deal with human populations later. They start off by giving you the definition for equilibrium here. If births and deaths are more or less equal over time, the population is said to be in equilibrium, okay, meaning a balance. So then how does that link, like it says, how is that related to equilibrium, to growth? So there's a couple of different types of growth. There's what we call exponential increase. Exponential increase results in a population explosion. Exponential increase is a J curve. So this is in your book on page 83. Exponential growth is what you get in a J curve. Okay. The cause of a J curve population growth, the exponential growth, is typically a lack of any kind of predator or anything that would keep the population in check. So it's a lack of environmental resistances in a J curve. So the population doesn't have anything controlling it, so it just explodes. Okay, once it hits its peak, okay, so the result of a J curve, a population explosion, is it goes up so fast that there aren't enough resources to support the population. So that's what this carrying capacity line is here. The carrying capacity line is the line that marks essentially what the environment or habitat can support, what population of that organism that the habitat can support. So if you blow by it in a J curve, like the population, you need the population, the organism population needs way more resources to support it than the habitat can provide. So then what happens is, like it says here, overgrazing and dying off due to starvation. You get a lack of resources, and now all these animals in the population, or plants or whatever it is, in the population can't survive because of lack of resources. So you get a super fast population drop, plummeting. Okay, so you get this population explosion, and then boom, population crash. That's in a J curve, exponential growth. All right. The S curve is a population that is at equilibrium. So what you get is you get population growth. You get a fairly slow and steady population growth. But once the population reaches that carrying capacity, the ability of the environment or the habitat to support it, it doesn't blow by it. It sort of goes back and forth, keeping an equilibrium. Right? Now, what causes an S curve? Well, an S curve is caused by environmental resistance factors, such as predators, things like that, that keep the population from exploding too large. Okay, what are the consequences of the S curve? Well, the consequences of an S curve is a population at equilibrium that is not larger than the habitat can support. And that's the consequence of an S-curve. Okay. All right. Now, along with this, some information that you have in your notes is things that cause a population to increase or decrease. And those are biotic potential and environmental resistance. Okay, I'm going to switch to the notes. So biotic potential is essentially the number of offspring that a species may produce under ideal conditions, or the potential to create life and reproduce. Environmental resistance is the combination of all biotic and abiotic factors. Remember, biotic is living, abiotic non-living. So combination of all the factors that may limit a population's increase. So what you have is you have things that are causing a population to increase, and you have things that are causing a population to decrease or stay in check. Okay? And what these two categories do is they sort of push against each other. And in your book on page 84, there's a diagram here of the population. And basically what happens is, so they're showing the population as this arrow. Things that are biotic potential increase the population, so that pushes the population higher. Things that are environmental resistance factors decrease the population or push it lower. So what you get is sort of almost like a reverse tug of war between these two groups of factors, pushing a population lower and higher. When the biotic potential and the environmental resistance are about equal or in a balance, that is when you get a population at equilibrium. All right. So that's sort of the basics of the information. Tomorrow, when you guys come in class, you should have a defense mechanism, at least one sort of unique defense mechanism that you found. And we'll talk about those factors, defense mechanisms, other stuff from those notes tomorrow. All right. See you guys.